You lost the weight and you still felt fat. Or you quit something, smoking, drinking, something else, and part of you still felt like the person who does that thing. Or you stepped into a new role, a new chapter, and walked around waiting for someone to figure out that you don't belong there. That's not weakness, that's what happens when who you are on the outside changes, but who you believe you are on the inside doesn't. That's your identity, and until that changes, you will keep fighting yourself. Identity is not your goals, it's not your habits list, it's not what you tell people about yourself. It's what you actually believe about who you are, quietly underneath everything. And it runs in the background all the time. When you're tired, when you're stressed, when no one is watching. That's when identity takes over, not your motivation, not your willpower, your identity. Here is a simple example. If you believe you are someone who takes care of their body, you'll make very different choices than someone who is trying to take care of their body. Same situation, same information, different identity, different results. The one word trying is the difference between a goal and an identity, and it changes everything. Identity normally changes like this. You change your behavior, you keep it up, and slowly, not overnight, who you believe you are starts to shift to match. I smoked for years. When I stopped, I didn't become a non-smoker straight away. My behavior said non-smoker. My identity didn't. For a long time, I was still a smoker who wasn't smoking right now. That's a very different thing. The old version of me was trying to stay real, but the behavior held, and over time the identity shifted. Now I'm a non-smoker who finds smoking genuinely repulsive. That shift happened, but it took time and consistent behavior to get there. Same with drinking. I started young, skipping school with friends, sharing wine at a time when nobody checked who was buying. That was part of my world then. Now I don't drink and I don't want to. I'm a non-drinker. I don't judge anyone who does. It just stopped being me. Both of those changed the same way. Behavior first, consistently, then after time, identity followed. That's the normal process and it works. The problem is when the behavior changes and the identity doesn't follow. Think about what happened to almost everyone who loses a significant amount of weight. The weight is gone, people around them see it, but inside they still feel fat. Their identity is still of an overweight person, just in different body. So they still obsessed, the anxiety doesn't stop just because the weight did. And this is the real reason so many people lose weight and gain it back. Not a failure of discipline. The identity never shifted. And identity always wins eventually. You drift back towards the behavior that matches who you believe you are. This isn't only about weight. You get promoted but still act like the junior. You leave a bad relationship but choose the same kind of person again because somewhere inside you still believe that's what you attract, what you deserve. The outside changed, the inside didn't follow. And so you can't settle into who you've become. You keep fighting yourself. The old version keeps pulling because part of you still believes it's the real one. What obeying yourself looks like here. Recognize that changing your behavior is necessary, but it's not enough on its own. You have to change how you see yourself, not just what you do. It can also go the other way. More than a decade ago, someone I worked with told me I was the most disciplined person on the team. And I went home wondering, am I? I didn't see myself that way at all. I was focused on my bad days, the days I didn't show up the way I wanted, the times I wasn't disciplined. I was treating those days as the honest picture of who I really am. But when I looked at the actual pattern, not the exceptions, the pattern, the discipline was there. Consistently, I just hadn't claimed it because I was judging myself by the 10% of times I wasn't disciplined and ignoring the 90% of the times I was. So I accepted it. I'm a disciplined person. Even on the days I choose not to apply it, that's a choice. The baseline is still there. You might be doing the same thing, dismissing real evidence of who you're becoming because your bad days feel more honest. They're not. Your pattern is more honest. Every time you treat your worst days or your past as the real you, you hand all the power to those moments. Progress stops counting. Look at your pattern honestly, not your best day, not your worst. If it's better than you've been giving yourself credit for, own it. That's identity. It's already yours. Everything I've described follows the same pattern. Change the behavior, wait, hope the identity follows. But there's another way to do this. Decide who you are first and let that pull the behavior forward. Not affirmation, not pretending, a real decision about who you are choosing to be and then acting from that place. Let me give you some practical examples because this is where it becomes real. You know you should eat more fruits and vegetables. You know it's the right thing to do, but you're someone who doesn't eat that way and it feels forced, almost against who you are. Now, what do you think happens if you shift identity first? If you decide, I'm someone who eats healthy, and you eat the fruit, then eat it again, then again, the behavior starts to feel like less effort and more like consistency with who you are. The identity and the behavior start to move together. Or take reliability. You know being reliable matters, you feel it, but your behavior is inconsistent and somewhere you've stopped fully believing you can be that person. What if you change the belief first? What if you decided, I'm a reliable person? Do you think your behavior would start to follow that more? Most likely yes, because now every time you're about to let someone down, it conflicts with who you believe you are. That conflict is useful. It makes you course correct. Here's the most powerful one. Someone tells you that you never finish what you start, and after hearing it enough times, you start believing it. So when things get hard, part of you thinks, why bother? This is just who I am. But another part of you hates it. There's a tug of war going on inside you between a label that was given to you and the person you actually want to be. Now imagine you changed that identity. You decided, I'm someone who finishes what they start. And the next time you feel like quitting, and you will feel like quitting, that belief is sitting right there. You are someone who finishes. So you finish. Not because of willpower, because it would contradict who you are not to. This is what identity does when it starts working for you instead of against you. Here's why I'm talking about identity on this channel. Obeying yourself, doing what you know is right even when you don't feel like it, is hard when who you are conflicts with what you're trying to do. Every time your actions feel like they go against your identity, you will fight with yourself. Every single time. But when your identity and your behavior point in the same direction, obeying yourself stops feeling like a battle. It starts to feel like just being who you are. That's what we're trying to build here. Not motivation, not tricks, an identity that is so clear, so decided that doing the right thing becomes the natural thing. Not perfect, not every day, but the direction is set, and that changes everything. Write down one identity, not a goal, an identity, not I want to exercise more, but I am someone who takes care of my body. Not I want to be more reliable, but I am a reliable person. Pick one, write it down. Then make one decision today that person would make. Just one. Notice the difference between acting from who you are and acting from effort alone. That's the shift we're after. Tell me in the comments what identity you're building right now. Not a goal, who you're becoming. I read them all. If you haven't subscribed and this is the kind of conversation you want more of, subscribe. That's how you let me know to keep going. See you next time!